good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you've decided to join us. Today we're looking at Scottish music and we'll have an introduction to Scottish instruments with myself. So if you've got me as a class teacher, I apologise because you're stuck with me. And if you don't have me as your class teacher, then I also apologise because you're stuck with me. Today we're going to look at Scottish instruments. Specifically, we'll be able to describe bagpipes, fiddle, accordion and the buran. We're also going to look at how to develop our practical skills, so that's your playing skills and performance skills, while you're at home. For those who have instruments, that'll be quite easy because there's music for you, you'll know how to do it. For those who don't have instruments with you, we'll look at ways that you can practice without them. So first up is the bagpipes. These are also known as the pipes. These are a musical instrument which has a flexible bag, and that's kind of the tartan bit you can see there. And this is inflated either by a tube with valves that you blow into or by bellows. Now this is a double reed instrument, so if you were in my class or any of the other teachers, you would have spoken about double reeds being part of the woodwind family. And that's two bits of wood that just vibrate together in the mouthpiece, and that's what creates the sound. There's also a melody pipe called the chanter, which looks a wee bit like a flute, and you play it a bit like a flute, and also from the drone pipes. Now a drone is that long note that holds on all the way through underneath the music, and you'll hear it when we play the examples. To play the bagpipes, the player keeps the bag full of air by blowing into it with a tube or pumping it with the bellows. The bag is pressed and then the air comes out through the chanters, and when you see it in the video, it almost kind of looks like he's playing like a flute. Okay, so there you go, that's a wee example of the bagpipes. Now there's a wee Easter egg in there. If anybody manages to find out what it is, let me know. I'll be very impressed. And before anybody asks, no, it's not me playing the bagpipes. Okay, so next up is the accordion, which is that big funny looking thing in the middle there. So the accordion is an instrument with a keyboard played with the right hand and buttons which play the chords pressed by the left hand. Now, this is very similar. If you play the keyboard, your left hand would play chords and your right hand plays the melody. Now the player pushes and pulls the two sides to operate the bellows. So there's also bellows in the bagpipes as well, so that kind of air being compressed. It's also known as a squeeze box. So here's a little example of someone called Grant McFarlane playing accordion. Now Grant was an ex-pupil of Glenaffer High School. So if you know him, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't know him, it's a fine example of what you could do with music. So next up we've got the buran, or as the Irish call it, the boiron. Now this is a big wooden drum, and it's held in one hand and played with a wooden beater with the right hand. This is very common in all kind of folk music and a lot of Irish music as well. Okay, now we have the fiddle. If anybody's looking at it and going, wait a minute, that's just a violin, you would be correct. So the fiddle is just another name for the violin, but when it's used in Scottish folk music, or folk music in general, you would refer to it as the fiddle. So if you hear a violin in any kind of music that's Scottish or folk, you'd normally call it the fiddle. Okay, so our next steps. I want you to go on to show my homework, and there's a short worksheet that as it goes alongside this, and it basically just recaps everything we've learned, all the instruments, and I want you to submit it back to your teacher. If that's me, just put it back on to myself. And it's also important that we keep up with our performance skills too. So there's a copy of Auld Lang Syne and Sky Boat Song that's also show my homework. And if you've got an instrument at home, you can just fire straight into it and get practicing. But if you don't, there's a couple of other ways that you can practice. The first one is if you've got a laptop or a computer, you can go to the online virtual pianos, type it into Google. There's an example of one there for you, and you can use that. If you don't have a laptop and you've got your phone, you can use the virtual piano app. You can get it from the Google Play Store or Apple Store, which either one's easiest for you. Or you can get a good old fashioned bit of paper and you can draw a keyboard down on it and just practice. Obviously you won't get any sound, but it means you'll get all the right kind of hand positions and your timing. Feel free to have a wee record of it and watch it back alongside the music if that's easiest for you. Okay, so the rest of this video is basically going to just be the audio tracks for Auld Lang Syne and Sky Boat Song for you to practice along with. If you need any assistance from myself, you can either email me or go onto Satchel One or show my homework and send me a little message there, and I'll reply anytime during school hours if you need help with anything or a wee hand, or if you want to just show something that you've done. Right, so that's all there is for this lesson. So have an attempt at the worksheet that's on show my homework and upload it back for us. And if you have any questions, send me a wee email or message on show my homework. See you next time.